Sincere extended thank you for joining us today. It does mark a very important day in the youth games journey. I come from a long enough journey, having been born in the 20th century, to suggest that my aspirations were what Crystal Palace would represent in my continued development from social grassroots development, performance and excellence. But the one thing I did as a leisure officer in Haverford Fulham is we have the responsibility for the then delivery of the youth games. And it was always what I felt most of the women and our civic leaders represented a fundamental human right of sport, leisure, recreation in the lives of young people. Hopefully with the participation, strength and depth, the combination of that was the best of those boroughs competing and bringing that civic and local community pride to a great festival of finals. This year's London Youth Games does just that. I believe it delivers on the 2012 pledge of inspiring a generation. And Richard Sunnery is here. I haven't seen him for a quarter of a century. He seems to have weathered well, but he was part of that vision of what an area of the East End of London, of historical deprivation and disadvantage, could be given life in the way that you see now. The London Youth Games is still very much the heart and soul, I believe, of London's citizens and communities. Equally, inspiring a generation means that you need competitors who will equally inspire, because I think people underestimate what the achievements of medals and great performances can do to young hearts and minds, yet alone those of us who still retain some youthful endeavour of wishing to achieve things that might defy our age or generation. But Tess Howard is that reflection and representation. Tess tells me she's going to Paris next year. It's that mindset of ambition that gives me a hell of a lot of confidence that we are in Olympic and Paralympic year next year. I'd like to remind everybody. So this is a footprint of the art of the possible. This is about what competition can do not only in the results, but in life. So this is and requires everybody playing their part in the Youth Games experience. And I think what we have here is a representation of what that requirement might look like. My only final comment will be in relation to, there was a Commonwealth Youth Games taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm just a very positive, I'd like to think, disruptor of what the art of the possible could be. So I'd be looking at someone from these youth games surely going to Trinidad and Tobago. Wouldn't that be a nice thought? It has to be the thought of the next level of aspiration. But there was a Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games last year. There was a legacy commitment of sport and physical activity. There was a youth charter. Dame Louise Martin, the president of the Commonwealth Games Federation, is a very close friend and ally and passionate advocate for young people. She wasn't able to be here. She has sent a message, but as we know, all executive assistants, and I'm told, and she's a Youth Games alumni, which I only found out 48 hours ago. So, like all things, and have I embarrassed you in your tribe? And yes, I have. But I thought I might, because that's what I like to do as well. But Maria and others and everybody that I've met, so many people said I was part of the Youth Games. So we intend to re-engage in alumni. We intend to bring everybody back to a festivals finals weekend that reflects a games experience. So thank you once again. Please stay involved, support the games effort, and I won't have to say sorry to you in any way, shape or form for continuing to be a major disruption in your life. Please enjoy the afternoon.